Welcome to my YouTube channel Folktales by Cheetah. Kindly subscribe and turn the notification bell to stay tuned to more stories. The morning sun cast a gentle glow over the Lay skyline as Amanda leaned back in her ergonomic office chair, her phone pressed against her ear. "I just wanted to hear your voice," she said, tucking a loose braid behind her ear. From the other end came a low, affectionate chuckle. "You always know how to make my day better." "I miss you already," replied David, her husband of 5 years. Amanda smiled softly, reassured by his tenderness. Their marriage had weathered busyness and burnout, but moments like this still gave her hope. "Dinner tonight?" she asked, her voice tinted with longing. "Absolutely, just us," David responded, firm and warm. A few more tender words passed before Amanda laughed softly and whispered, "All right, I'll let you go now, love you." "Love you more," David replied. Amanda tapped the screen to end the call, but the screen didn't go dark. Confused, she checked the phone again, realizing the line was still active. She was just about to hang up when she heard David's voice again, this time stripped of affection. "She bought it again," he said with a chuckle, his tone laced with amusement. Amanda's fingers stiffened around the device. Then came another voice, feminine, familiar, sharp. "She's so desperate to be loved, it's pathetic." The laughter that followed sliced through Amanda like broken glass. That voice, that laugh, it was Cassandra, her best friend, her maid of honor, the woman who stood beside her as she took her vows. Amanda didn't speak, didn't breathe. The air in her office turned heavy, suffocating her. Her phone stayed pressed to her ear as David and Cassandra's conversation carried on like a dark, cruel theater. "She thinks I still care about her silly journal," Cassandra sneered. "She writes like her life is a fairy tale and you play Prince Charming so well." Amanda's world began to tilt. The man she built her world around, the friend she shared her most sacred moments with, their laughter wasn't sweet anymore, it was poison. It wasn't just betrayal, it was humiliation dressed in intimacy. Amanda stared blankly at the window, phone still in hand, heart shattered but quiet. The truth had come uninvited, but it had come. For minutes Amanda sat frozen, staring at her desk as if it might offer her answers. Her ears still rang with Cassandra's voice dripping in mockery. "She has no idea," David had said, "she's too caught up in this perfect marriage fantasy." Slowly Amanda lowered the phone to her lap. It felt hot, like it had burned her. Her wedding band glinted in the sunlight, its gleam suddenly garish. She twisted it, feeling the weight of everything it had once met. Now it felt more like a shackle than a symbol of love. Her mind spiraled back to memories now stained. The miscarriage, the job loss, nights when she wept into Cassandra's shoulder, whispering, "I'm lucky to have a friend like you." Every comforting gesture now felt rehearsed, calculated. Amanda rose slowly, her body foreign to her, as if she were wearing someone else's skin. The betrayal wasn't loud, it was cold and methodical, and that made it worse. Not just that they had hurt her, but how little they had thought of her while doing it. That evening Amanda sat in her living room wrapped in a blanket, legs tucked under her. The air was thick, her mind even thicker with noise. She didn't even glance at the television as David's keys jingled in the lock. He walked in smiling, carrying takeout from her favorite place. "Your favorite from Adunis?" he said, kissing her forehead. Amanda nodded, too numb to react. She watched him laugh, talk about traffic, act like everything was normal. When he mentioned Cassandra's spa weekend plans, her insides churned. "You should go," he added. Amanda forced a smile. "I'll think about it." Her voice was calm, composed, but inside something had changed. Amanda wasn't silent from shock anymore, she was silent by choice, and that silence would soon become her weapon. In the days that followed, Amanda's silence deepened, but her awareness sharpened. She began to move like a shadow in her own home, quiet, watchful, deliberate. David didn't seem to notice the shift, or maybe he did and chose to ignore it. Amanda had stopped asking questions not because she didn't need answers, but because she already had the most important one. "He doesn't love me anymore, not truly, not fully, not honestly." At night Amanda would lie awake, her back turned to David's. He'd ask, "You okay?" And she'd whisper, "Just tired." That was the only truth she could afford to tell him. She didn't cry anymore. She wrote. Her old leather-bound journal became her confession booth, her therapist, her courtroom. She poured in every detail, the sound of Cassandra's laugh, David's exact words, the precise moment her heart cracked in two. The journal didn't just hold her pain, it held her evidence. David once caught sight of her writing and teased, "Back to your emotional essays." She smiled and closed it gently. Something like that. But inside her pages had become a map, a silent strategy of survival. She wasn't angry, not yet. She was mourning the loss of two people she loved with every fiber of her being, and mourning the woman she used to be, trusting, open, willing to believe in forever. Now Amanda woke up each morning, brushed her teeth, dressed in crisp blouses and played the part of a wife, but behind her soft eyes was a growing flame. One afternoon, while sitting at her desk in the corner of their tastefully furnished Victoria Island home, Amanda's phone buzzed. It was a message from Cassandra, a meme, a cartoon woman wide-eyed in bed, while her man snorted beside her. The caption read, "Me pretending I'm not overthinking while he sleeps like a log." Below it a message, "This is so. You babble, you and your anxiety." Amanda stared at the screen, her lips pressed into a tight line. She didn't reply. She couldn't. The audacity was too loud. The same woman who plotted behind her back was now mocking her sincerity. Amanda got up and walked to the bathroom. She locked the door, placed her phone on the counter and stared into the mirror. The woman staring back at her looked calm, but her eyes told another story. "You think I'm a joke?" she whispered. "You think I'm too soft to know?" She splashed cold water on her face, willing the tears not to fall. That day she wrote in her journal, "I used to laugh at your jokes, Cassandra. Now I wonder if every laugh was at me." Friday night came with the weight of a performance. Amanda hadn't rehearsed for David, suggested hosting a small dinner for friends just like old times. She agreed with a soft smile, knowing full well who would be on the guest list. Cassandra arrived fashionably late, arms outstretched for a hug, her perfume bold and familiar. "I've missed you, Amanda," she beamed. Amanda hugged her tightly, matching the energy. "Same here," she replied, her voice like silk hiding a blade. Throughout the evening, Amanda played the perfect hostess, topping wine glasses, laughing at the right cues, serving steaming plates of jollof rice and grilled fish, but her eyes never stopped moving. She saw everything: how David refilled Cassandra's drink before she even asked, the way their eyes met when someone cracked a joke, how Cassandra tilted her head just enough for her hair to fall the way David liked it. No one else saw the currents running under the table but Amanda. She was no longer blind. At one point, a mutual friend teased, "You two are so in sync, David and Cass, it's scary." Amanda tilted her head and smiled. "They've always had a rhythm," she said, her tone light but her words heavy. The laughter faltered for just a second. Cassandra glanced up sharply. Amanda met her gaze, cool and steady. In that moment, the friendship died, not with a scream but with a look, a silent declaration of war. Amanda wasn't the naive wife anymore. She was the woman who knew, and knowledge, when worn with a smile, was the most dangerous weapon of all. The next morning, Amanda curled up in her favorite chair by the window, a cup of lemon tea untouched beside her. On her lap sat an old photo album, one she hadn't opened in years. She flipped through the glossy pages slowly, her fingers brushing over memories that now burned. There was a photo of David's birthday party from last year, Cassandra leaning just a little too close as Amanda cut the cake. She had thought it sweet at the time, now it looked staged, calculated. Another picture showed Cassandra wearing a gold necklace, one David had once told Amanda he bought for a colleague's wife. Her stomach tightened. At the time, it hadn't even registered. Now it felt like a scream from the past that she had been too busy, too trusting to hear. As the photos flashed by, her memory grew sharper. The times Cassandra showed up uninvited, the way David always found reasons to spend time with her, the late nights, the vague explanations. Amanda pressed a hand to her chest and whispered, "Was I really that blind?" She grabbed her journal and began writing. Dates, events, lies she once accepted as truth. It wasn't just about love lost, it was about how carelessly they had tossed aside her trust. They never hid it well because they didn't think they needed to, because they believed she would never look closely enough. Amanda wasn't documenting the past to mourn it, she was building her arsenal. They underestimated her, and now she was watching closely, quietly, and this time she would not look away. By Saturday morning, the walls of Amanda's Lecky home felt like they were closing in. Every corner carried a memory, a lie, or a scent of betrayal. She needed air, she needed space. She picked up her phone and dialed a number she hadn't called in months. "Ruth, are you home?" Her cousin's voice came, soft and sure. "Always come." Amanda didn't explain, she didn't need to. Ruth knew the language of silent breakdowns. An hour later, Amanda stood at Ruth's gate in Surulere. The compound smelled of freshly boiled moi and hibiscus. Ruth opened the door and, without asking questions, wrapped her in a long, grounding hug. Inside, she handed Amanda a warm throw blanket and placed a bowl of pepper soup in her hands. They sat in silence, the kind only deep love could hold. No explanations, no pressure, just presence. Later that night, wrapped in Ruth's extra pajamas, Amanda whispered, "I heard something I wasn't supposed to. It didn't just break my heart, it broke something deeper." Ruth didn't flinch, she leaned her head gently on Amanda's shoulder and whispered back, "You don't have to fight it alone." For the first time in weeks, Amanda slept without fear of dreams. She didn't need to be brave there, she only needed to breathe. Amanda knew what she was doing when she accepted Cassandra's invitation to her birthday brunch in Victoria Island. She chose her outfit with precision, a satin emerald green dress that draped like confidence, her braids pinned up to show a neck free of tension. She arrived alone, her heels clicking with intention. The room erupted with laughter and clinking glasses until it quieted slightly when Amanda entered. Cassandra, glowing in pink lace, froze mid-laugh. "You came?" Cassandra exclaimed, pulling her into a hug. "Of course," Amanda replied, smiling coolly, "you're worth celebrating." Every word was deliberate, not to deceive but to perform, and she performed it well. David arrived 10 minutes later with a gold ribbon box. "Had to fight half of Lagos for this?" he joked, handing it to Cassandra. She squealed, unwrapping a silk scarf set she had once admired in a boutique. Amanda sipped her champagne, watching the scene unfold like a play she had already read the script for. Later, over dessert, Cassandra leaned in with a laugh and said, "David is so thoughtful, he's setting the bar too high for you." Amanda met her eyes and replied smoothly, "That's all right, some bars are just illusions anyway." The laughter at the table faltered for a beat. Cassandra's smile twitched. Amanda didn't blink. That line wasn't just a response, it was a message. This wasn't revenge, it was revelation, and Cassandra knew it. That night, after David claimed he had a client dinner and left smelling faintly of woodsy cologne, Amanda walked straight to his side of the wardrobe. She wasn't searching, she was confirming. Beneath a stack of old work files she found it, an envelope, unsealed, labeled in his handwriting. Her hands didn't tremble as she opened it, not this time. Inside was a lease agreement for an apartment in Ikoyi. Her eyes scanned every line until she found it. Co-resident, Cassandra A. Moore. Amanda stared at the document like it was a mirror. Her heart didn't pound, it thudded evenly with cold clarity. They had made it official, not even coded. They had planned a life behind her back so openly, so confidently, as if she didn't matter. She placed the lease back exactly where she found it, walked to her vanity and opened her journal. In bold strokes she wrote, "They're building a home while I survive inside the ruins of mine, but not for long." The next morning she sat in the back seat of her Uber tracking Cassandra's Instagram stories, rarely public, but today a careless boomerang, champagne glasses clinking in an unfamiliar living room. Amanda paused and zoomed in. The reflection on the wine bottle was unmistakable. David's broad shoulders lifting 2 glasses. She screen recorded it without emotion when David texted that night. "Landed safely, long day, miss you." Amanda typed "rest well," then deleted it. She turned off her phone, her silence no longer rooted in confusion, it was preparation. They had built a lie. She was now building her exit. Amanda stood before the full-length mirror in her bedroom, dressed in a crisp white blouse and navy slacks, clean, composed, deliberate. Her suitcase stood zipped beside her. The house was still. David wouldn't be back until late according to the last lie he told. She had written a letter, no rants, no accusations, just truth, elegant and razor sharp. David, it began. I won't list what you've done, you already know. This isn't for you to understand me, it's for me to remember that I didn't imagine the love, the betrayal, or the silence. I lived it all, and now I choose me. She placed the letter on his pillow and beside it her wedding band, not tarnished, just returned. She took one last walk through the house. She didn't touch the frame photo on the mantel, didn't rearrange the throw pillows, let it all remain a museum of pretense. As the driver loaded her suitcase, she looked at the gate but didn't look back. That house had never protected her, only held her while she broke quietly inside it. Weeks later, Amanda walked into a small community hall in Surrey wearing a soft mustard dress and her natural curls pinned into a bun. She had been invited to speak at a women's seminar reclaiming the narrative. She stood on the stage steady and serene and told her story, not the names, not the scandal, just the emotional truths. Sometimes silence is mistaken for weakness, she said, but silence when chosen is strength, it's strategy, and it's survival. Afterward, as she stepped off the stage, women lined up to hug her, thank her, whisper, "Me too." Amanda's eyes brimmed but no tears fell. She no longer needed to cry to prove she'd survived. She had reclaimed her story, and in the stillness of that moment Amanda smiled, not because she had forgotten but because she had remembered who she was all along. The end. Moral of the story: above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4 verse 23. Amanda didn't shout, fight or break things. She chose silence, dignity and truth, and in the end she walked away whole. What are your thoughts on Amanda's journey, her silence, her strength, and the way she chose herself over betrayal? Did anything in her story resonate with you? We'd love to hear your take in the comments, and if you found this story powerful, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss another one, and please share this with someone who needs a reminder that quiet strength is still strength. Thank you for watching and reading till the end.